So, among the groups, the cults that have been attributed to Islam that are not from the 73 factions mentioned in the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam are the people of Tanasukh. 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 That means reincarnation. And they are originally philosophers. Since before the Islamic Empire. And Socrates was one of them. And during the Islamic Empire, there were people who believed in reincarnation. There were two groups who were attributed to Islam who believed in reincarnation. One of them was a cult of destiny deniers. And one of them was a Shiite cult. And there was a man called Mani, that's his name, Mani Thanawi, who used to believe in reincarnation. This man, Mani, it is said that his way in religion is a blend of Majus religion and Christianity. He talked about Tanasukh, he talked about reincarnation in some of his books. And he mentioned that the souls of the Siddiqeen, the souls of the highly pious saints of the highest order, when they depart their bodies, they go to the pillars of dawn until they reach the light that is above the stars. And then there they will be in happiness forever. And that the souls of the people of misguidance shall be reincarnated into the bodies of animals. And then those souls will keep transferring, relocating from animal to animal until that person is purified from his injustice. And then he will go up to the light that's above the stars. And there are even Jews who believe in reincarnation, the reincarnation of the souls. And they say that they found in the book of Daniel that Allah Ta'ala deformed Bukhtanasar into 7 forms of animals. As for those who believe in reincarnation amongst the destiny deniers, those are the followers of a man named Ahmad ibn Khabit. He was amongst the companions of An-Nazam, the Mu'tazili. And he was affiliated with An-Nazam. He used to say, like An-Nazam said, he used to believe in the Tufra, the leap. Anyone remember the leap that An-Nazam talked about? Can you tell us in 10? Remind us about the leap that An-Nazam talked about. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one remembers Al-Tufra, the leap. So if you remember this Mu'tazili, he's called An-Nazam. The Mu'tazila claim that he's called An-Nazam. Nazam means arranger. They claim that he was called that because he was so nice at his words, whether in poetry or prose. And Ahlul Sunnah said that's not true. He was called An-Nazam because he used to string beads. And he used to believe that there's no such thing as an indivisible particle. So he believed that any object would be made of infinite particles. So when another Mu'tazili debated with him, Abul Hudayl, he told him, how would then, according to you, an ant cross a sprout? If the sprout is made of infinite particles, then in order for that ant to get from one end of the sprout to the other, he'd have to pass unending particles. So how would he traverse how would he traverse a sprout? So An-Nazam said, he leaps sometimes. And then the people laughed at him. He became a laughing stock. And this conviction of his became a proverb and became documented. So it's called Al-Tufra. Tufra, T_UFRAH. Tufra, the leap. That was the famous answer of An-Nazam when he was in the debate with Abul Hudayl. So this person, Ahmad ibn Khabit, who believed in reincarnation, he was one of the companions of An-Nazam, and he was affiliated with An-Nazam or attributed to him. And he used to talk about the leap, the tufra. And he used to deny that there's an indivisible particle. And also he used to believe in something else from another Mu'tazili, Abul Hudayl. What did he believe? He believed that the power of Allah Ta'ala will stop, will cut, and then Allah will not have the power to increase the enjoyment of the people of paradise by anything. And he would not have the power to increase the torture of the people of hell by anything. So this one, Ahmad ibn Khabit, who believed in reincarnation, he had these beliefs of the Mu'tazila. This is what made him considered a Mu'tazili. Then, after these two statements that he took from the Mu'tazila, he added the saying of reincarnation. And he had a companion named Ahmad ibn Banush. So there's several Ahmads in this chapter here. So we talked about first Ahmad ibn Khabit. This Ahmad ibn Khabit, he had a companion named Ahmad ibn Banush. And he was affiliated with Ibn Khabit, or attributed to him. And he used to also believe in reincarnation. But between the two of them, there were many differences in different spots. Then there was a third one whose name is Ahmad ibn Muhammad al-Qahti. At the time of al-Jubba'i, he used to also blend i'tizal, mu'tazili beliefs with tanasukh, reincarnation. And there was another man named Abdul Karim ibn Abi al-Awja. He was secretly upon the religion of Mani, and he believed in reincarnation. But outwardly, he was a Qadari and a Shi'i. Outwardly, he was a Qadari, a destiny denier, and a Shiite. And he fabricated many hadiths by which the Shiites were seduced. And he corrupted their fasting for them. And he established for them some calculation by which they altered when the months begin. And he said that that calculation was from Ja'far as-Sadiq, radiyallahu anhu. And then when the news of his calculations appeared, then Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Sulaiman al-Hashimi ordered for his execution. Who was that? According to the commentary of Al-Kawthari, he was the mayor of Basra, the Amir of Basra. I'm saying mayor because Basra is a city, so usually the one who's in charge of a city is called mayor. He was the Amir of Basra. So then that one was arrested and he was executed and hung on a pole. And amongst these people who believe in reincarnation, there are many differences about the meaning of incarnation or the details of this, the meaning of reincarnation or the details of this reincarnation that they claim. Ahmad ibn Khabit, he used to say that Allah Ta'ala originally created the creations with sound bodies and perfect intellects in some abode, in some realm or world other than this realm of the dunya that we live in. And according to him, he created for them knowing him. And he completed his endowment upon them. And he commanded them to thank him. And this one, Ahmad ibn Khabit, he used to say that the human being in reality is merely the soul, not the shell from the outside, not the body that we witness. He's merely the soul, and the soul is something alive, knowledgeable, and powerful. And he used to say that all of the animals, all of the living things are really the same type of thing. And he said that all of the living creatures are accountable. And he said that whoever obeyed Allah in that realm, then Allah kept him there. And whoever disobeyed Allah there, then Allah put him out and put him in hell. And whoever obeyed him sometimes and disobeyed him at other times, then Allah put him in the realm of this earthly life. And gave him this fleshly shell. And then tested him, sometimes with hardships and sometimes with ease, and sometimes with pain and sometimes with pleasure. And he made some of them have the shape of humans, and some of them had the shapes of birds, and some of them had the shapes of the predators, and some of them had the shapes of the other beasts, and some of them had the shapes of the vermin. And their levels in this, the shapes that they had or the forms that they were given, according to him, were in accordance with their sins. So whoever had fewer amounts of sins, then his image, his appearance would be more beautiful. And whoever had more sins, then the shell for his soul, its image would be uglier. And those people used to say that the living creature, the hayawan, in reality is just merely the soul. And it doesn't stop being in this dunya, going from shell to shell, from body to body, one soul, going from body to body, depending on its amount of obedience and sins. It would go into the forms of humans or into the form of animals until that one's obedience becomes pure. And then he will move on to the abode of bliss. Or if he stays on the sins, he will be transferred to the abode of the inferno. Heavy fairy tales. Where's he getting all this stuff from? And his man Ahmed Banush differed with him and said that whenever one is upon the form of an animal, then he wouldn't be accountable. As for Ahmed ibn Khabit, he said he would be accountable. As an animal, he's still accountable. And the fact that he could be subjugated and slaughtered or ridden is punishment for him. And Ahmed ibn Banush, he used to say that among the accountable ones is who his obedience was so repetitious that he becomes deserving of becoming a prophet or an angel. And as for that one, Al-Qahti, he used to say that Allah did not make the people accountable at first. But the people, they asked to be made accountable so that Allah would raise their ranks. Because Allah made them aware that their ranks would not be raised except by accountability. And that if they disobey, then they will be deserving of punishment. And so they said, we accept. He said, this is the meaning of the saying of Allah, إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. It means, according to a proper tafsir, the ayah means, and this is only one way of tafsir, that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala created in the heavens and the earth and the mountains awareness and offered them the chance of accountability, and they refused, and they were afraid of it. And the human being was given that, and he took it. And indeed, the human being is unjust for his falling short in that accountability, and he is an ignorant one. And some said this last part, innahu kana zaluman jahula, that's not about the obedient believer who believed and he obeyed. He's not included in this. That certainly the human being is a very unjust and very ignorant. So that one, Al-Qahtli, he took this ayah and applied it to his imagination. And then there was one, Abu Muslim al-Harrani. He used to say that Allah Ta'ala created their souls and made accountable whom he knew would disobey him. He made accountable whom he knew would disobey him, but they disobeyed him proactively, preemptively, as if to say he knew them to be disobedient, and they were accountable for their disobedience immediately, automatically. And so he just made them deformed and put them into various shells in accordance with their sins. The judgment of reincarnation is that it is blasphemy. And as you can see, it is a denial of resurrection and judgment day and being judged for the deeds. And if someone were to claim that it's not a denial of judgment day, meaning if someone were to claim there is no contradiction between believing in reincarnation and believing in judgment day, although you notice that none of them said anything about judgment day, because they don't believe in it, so that's blasphemy. But if someone were to claim, but there's no real contradiction between believing in reincarnation and judgment day, it is said to that one, which body will the person appear in? Then all of those bodies will appear on judgment day, but only one soul? Or what? So it does not comply with the right belief, reincarnation, so-called. Also, it implies tasalsul. Reincarnation implies tasalsul, because which was the first body? Though some of them have some explanations here about how things started according to them, but that's not according to all of them. For one who believes in reincarnation without this fabrication about how it started, any of these fabrications, then which body was his first body? And whichever body was the first body, why was he in that body and there wasn't a body before it? How did he start there? So the judgment for reincarnation is that it is blasphemy. And that's all that we have for tonight, subhanallah. I wanted to make sure that I had enough for the lesson. I didn't know if this would take the whole time of the lesson or go over. But it turned out being a little shorter. than our usual time. So if you have any questions that I can answer for you, I'll be glad to. And if not, then we'll break out a little earlier tonight, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What?
Is there a term for cult in Arabic?
Cult?
Yeah.
I don't know a term for cult. The word that is being used in this book is ghula. Ghula. Which means extremists. It means extremists. But he calls all the deviant groups ghula. So there's a difference in the context when you talk about some of them. Some of them are from the 73 groups and some of them are not. So the ones that are not, those are the ones that I'm using the word cult for them. You said literal translation of tasalsul. People coined the term infinite regression. Infinite regression. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك